Daniel Latifi is not an unknown name for those who follow Formula One racing events. He's a racing driver of Iranian-Canadian origin. He races under the Canadian flag for Williams Racing. But not everything is good with his racing career with Williams, as he saw disasters and social media threats this year without any massive winning moment. Latifi entered the Formula One Championship after he came as runner-up in the Formula 2 Championship. However, he couldn't maintain his winning momentum with Williams. The Canadian racer was often found at last in the Formula race. He just managed to score 7 points in 55 starts, which makes his Formula One racing career increasingly questionable. The Italian Grand Prix event further diminished all hopes when he was beaten by the debutant Nyck de Vries. Last year was hopeful for Latifi when he had progressed in the race, giving George Russell some tough time. Williams got a double score in Hungary, where Latifi completed the race 7th ahead of Russell. But fate has other plans for Latifi. The Abu Dhabi GP race crash has shifted the wheels towards safety, which flipped the entire World Championship battle. Alex Albon has found it easy to adapt to the new car features when compared to Latifi, which resulted in the downslide of Latifi. Another reason that he couldn't cope with the pressure is the frequent race accidents that made the team concentrate on spare parts replenishment rather than working on updating. After the Abu Dhabi crash, Latifi has to face criticism from many on social media. Fans of Lewis Hamilton have even made death threats against Latifi, which has made his mental condition even harder to cope with all that is happening around him. So this didn't also add to his confidence while starting his racing events in 2022. Later in the year, crashed in Jeddah for qualifying as well as race. One can see the enormous pressure Latifi might be under because of his racing outcomes with Williams. The biggest accident is, however, the collision with Lance Stroll in the Australia qualifying race, though the blame was shifted to others. Joss Capito, the team head, has opined that the racing is a heads game. He said Latifi is efficient enough to drive fast and carry similar time laps when compared to his contemporary Alex if he is in the right state of mind. According to him, the cars which are being used in the racing events this year are quite difficult to drive. The drivers should handle them in a tricky way to increase their speed. Latifi has to understand how to handle these cars for better results, Capito said. He also extended the full support of the team to Latifi to prevail in the racing events. Capito also feels that the Abu Dhabi crash has downplayed Latifi's talent. He was quoted saying that his race driver was severely affected by the death threats on social media. He said that the team has helped in raising his driver's spirit of late. The team is putting its efforts to increase confidence. The head is confident that Latifi is back on track and is on the right path to secure some records in the oncoming sporting events. Latifi was behind Albon in Imola. Albon quickly switched to the slicks on the drying track while Latifi was pitted to the field in the following lap. Both of the Williams racers had their tire changes at a difference of 1 lap. Even then, Albon had done well and left Latifi 4 cars behind him at the end of the race. Latifi commented on the race that his strategy to enter the slicks after someone has cost him much of the track time. He said he and Albon were close initially, and when he came out of the pits, he even predicted that he was going to be ahead of Albon because he had no sight of Albon. But that was not the outcome. He realized after the event that the track was ready for the slicks, but his lack of confidence has resisted him from entering the slacks too early. Albon, on the other hand, entered the slacks first and ended the event ahead of Latifi. This is, however, a rare instance for a Formula One driver to admit that his weak performance is due to a lack of confidence which affected the decision. But Latifi has never shied away from honestly discussing his mind about flaws and areas where improvement is necessary. He admitted he is not comfortable with the car since the Saudi event. He stated that the racers believe that if the driver doesn't trust his car and how it operates, that can lead to dangerous consequences. He was not speaking about the safety of the car. Instead, he is concerned about not being able to push one's limits while driving a car. There are balance issues and downforce issues with the car which Albon has managed to handle. Latifi pointed out that it is not that he is late in applying brakes and not maintaining enough speed or his driving style among other things while driving the new cars, but the overall confidence while racing with the new car that has to be worked upon. He was quoted saying that he has to work on his confidence first and then move on to the technical aspects of the car. He believes that he will adapt to the new cars just with time, and so do his fans and team wish for. Latifi is a hard-working racer who never gives up his spirit even at tough times. His achievements are better than memes or geo-atific jokes. He joined the F1 grid back in 2020 after being tested thoroughly both in official and private sessions. His racing in F2 in 2019 has made him gain the opportunity to join the Formula One racing under the team Williams. But Williams is still finding its ground in the racing events after a low-performance season in 2019. So Latifi has to show results in a short span for Team Williams, which is going to be super hard anyway. His track record is also not that jaw-dropping. He never won any race previously. Albon has beaten Latifi in 13 races out of the 15 qualifyings. Also, Albon has better lap times when compared to Latifi. When coming to continuous disastrous car smashes into racing events, the vehicle performance head of the team Williams, Dave Robson, is of the view that the cars of the current year are different when it comes to how they behave under brakes. He technically explains that the car's rear has come up a lot, which makes the front wing go close to the ground. This makes the car work differently when brakes are applied. The driver has become accustomed to this change while driving the new cars. Robson also suggests that the drivers have to find other means to make these cars run in optimum conditions on the track. However, Latifi is of the view that a more forgiving car will suit his needs, and he is finding an approach for FU44 and working on what is better for him. He also admits that he has to work on it, as his other teammate is quite able to manage better results by using the same car. He also realizes that he is not making any progress with each lap. Stabilizing the car is not a solution, as they tried doing in Australia, but of no use. Albon, unlike Latifi, has a different style to approach Russell, but Latifi does not believe that his teammates' approach and choices are making the car less difficult to drive. The baseline cars have a few limitations, and the drivers are still trying hard to manage those limitations. A few tracks expose those limitations more than other tracks, but there are certain drawbacks for sure when it comes to these cars, Latifi pointed out. He accepted he is finding it difficult with cars, and it is a pure feeling. And this feeling is irrespective of the pace and whatnot. He affirms that all the cars are slower than given. There is much improvement that must be needed to improve the racing capabilities. Much more is coming up for Latifi. The temporary circuits or barrier line street is coming up his way, where he may find Miami, Monaco, Montreal, and Baku taxing, because confidence is what is needed for these races. Whatever it may be, Latifi's career in Formula 1 racing is still a matter of doubt, but if he manages to handle his car without any crashes, he might retain his position in F1. We can only wish good luck to Latifi and hope he betters his position in Formula 1. That's it for today's video. We keep our videos informative to ensure that our viewers enjoy watching them. Show your support for this video, which inspires us to bring more videos. Please comment, share, and subscribe for more interesting videos.